Today, we are going to install the TOTO S7A on the TOTO Aurora toilet. So it's a Washlet Plus system, both the toilet and the bidet we're going to install together, and we're going to take you step by step through the process and try and answer any question you might have. I'm Sam with ManyBidets.com, where you can get expert advice on all things bidets. The tools you're going to need: an automatic drill. A handheld screwdriver is also nice to have, but you're going to need a Phillips number 2 and a Phillips number 3. You're also going to need the 1/8 inch drill bit or a 5/16 drill bit, depending if you need to go into tile floor. A mechanical pencil or pen, and pliers, or I like these flat blade gooseneck pliers myself, but something to connect a water supply is also a handy tool. The first thing you're going to want to do is take this template and mark the places in the floor that you're going to need to drill holes for the install. The top of this template here is going to be facing towards the wall, and you place the circle of the template over your flange. Once you've placed it over your flange like this, you're going to mark the 6 holes you need to drill. And remove the template. Now take your drill with a 1/8 inch drill bit or a 5/16 if you're drilling into concrete or tile, and drill where you've marked those holes. Now you'll take the black flange adapter that came with your toilet and you'll set it over your flange. The flange should have a seal, either a rubber seal like this or a wax ring, and bolts. These do not come with the toilet, so you got to make sure that you have the bolts for your flange. You're going to set the flange adapter on top of the bolts. Place a metal washer and a nut on top of one of the bolts, and just tighten it to barely snug. And then do the same with the other bolt. That'll just keep it roughly in place. Now you're going to take the 2 panhead screws that were in the little bag taped to the back of the flange adapter, and with a number 2 Phillips head bit in your drill, you're going to attach the back of the flange adapter. There's no need to over tighten these. Snug, as long as it's touching the ground, is exactly what you're looking for. Now push down on the front of your flange adapter and tighten the nuts. You can do this by hand. If you want to use a wrench to tighten it up more, you can. I've never found that to be necessary. Now you're going to take your mounting blocks and place them over the holes that you've pre-drilled. Place the screws into those mounting blocks and tighten them down. Now we're going to pick up the toilet and set it onto the flange. This is best done with 2 people. I do have an easier setup here in that I'm not in a small bathroom, and it's possible to do this on my own. The first thing you're going to do when you pick it up is get the front of the toilet in front of the flange. If the front of the toilet is in front of the flange, you can pick up the back of the toilet, place the ceramic tube that's on the back of the toilet over that flange adapter, and you're going to wiggle it in place until it falls in place. Well, that was really easy. It doesn't always happen that quickly and easily, but if you get the front lined up dead center and slowly lower the back over that flange adapter, it'll drop into place. You may have to wiggle it a little bit, but once it falls flat onto the ground, you're in good shape. Now we're going to secure the toilet to the mounting blocks with the screws and the covers that come with the toilet. You're gonna need your number 3 Phillips bit in your screwdriver, and make sure your torque setting is set very, very low on your drill, or do this by hand. Once the clutch in your drill doesn't allow you to drill any further, tighten it up a little bit and then screw in more. As soon as the top of the screw touches the porcelain, stop drilling it in. You do not want to create extra pressure on the porcelain. Porcelain is very brittle. Now cover that screw on each side. Now we're going to hook up water to the toilet. We're gonna start with the T connector. You gotta make sure the rubber washer or gasket is in the top of the T connector. You're gonna place it on the water inlet for the toilet and spin it backwards, counterclockwise, until the threads jump. When the threads jump, then spin clockwise to tighten, and that'll help you avoid cross-threading. Now, the part of the T that comes off to the side, I like to rotate towards the back in order to hide the bidet's hose later on in the install. Right now, we're gonna take the water supply hose and connect it to your water shutoff. This should be a 3/8 inch compression on most water shutoffs. Hand tight is usually enough for compression fittings with rubber washers or gaskets, but you can use your pliers to tighten that down a little bit more if you need to. Now take the other side of the hose to the bottom of the T connector, rotate backwards until the threads jump, and then forwards. Again, make sure the rubber washer is in the end of this hose as well. This hand tight is plenty. And now we have water going to our toilet, but do not turn on your water at this point. We need to make sure our bidet is connected before we turn on the water. Next up, we're gonna install our mounting plate. But because we have a Washlet Plus system where the hose and power cord are gonna go through the toilet, we wanna make sure we get those through the hole in the toilet before we install the mounting plate. To install the mounting plate, we're gonna start with the rubber sleeves. Place them over the hole, place a screw in the top of them, spin it around once or twice, and press it down into the hole on the toilet. Pull the screw back out, and do the same with the other rubber sleeve. Now take your mounting plate with the metal hooks facing forwards towards the front of the toilet. And your metal locking brackets towards the front of the mounting plate. With this bidet and toilet setup, you're about 2 notches back from the front of the mounting plate where those locking brackets are installed. And now we're going to take the Phillips number 2 bit into our drill and put the screws into the rubber sleeves and tighten. Do not push down until it's really bit onto that rubber sleeve, because you don't want to push that rubber sleeve down into the toilet. You want to keep it up top. That mounting plate is secure, so now we can slide the bidet, make sure the hose goes into the hole on the toilet, slide it back into that mounting plate, and you'll hear it click. And now wiggle it, make sure it doesn't want to slide forward, and it is secured well, and now our bidet is in place. At this point, we're going to take our bidet supply hose and connect it to our T-connector. Make sure you've got that rubber O-ring on the end. Slide it into the T-connector and spin the threaded end in. The threaded connection here does not seal the water. It's that rubber O-ring that's in there. So this does not need to be cranked down real tight. As long as it's snug and not going to slip out, you're good. And now we can turn on the water, watch the tank fill, and look for leaks. One of the things you're going to notice with this toilet is you've got a sleeve inside of the main tank, and that's going to be a separate reservoir that's going to hold water. So you kind of end up with 2 reservoirs here that have water in them for a dual flush of sorts on this non-electric toilet. Now let's plug the bidet into our power outlet. After you plug it in, you'll see the nozzle come out and go back in. No water runs during that usually. And then you'll see the pre-mist and the little light inside the bowl probably come on. And you're all set with the bidet. Let's throw the lid on the back of the toilet, and then we'll set up the remote control for the bidet. This S7A bidet seat comes with a remote control that has a magnetic mount, but it also comes with another mount that locks in. So if you install this on the wall, if you don't want the back to be accessed and you want to stay in place, you don't want kids messing with it or whatever, this works well. But to remove this from the remote, you do have to use a flathead screwdriver into the back of the mount to remove the remote. So be careful using that one. If you take the mount off of the back of the remote control and look at the bottom of the remote control, press in on the center and lift up, you will open up the battery compartment. There's room for 2 AAA batteries. 2 Duracell AAA batteries come with this remote control. Slide them in negative side first towards the big spring. Then take your battery door with the little nubs facing upwards towards the middle of the remote and press down, locking it in place, and your remote control is all set up. Before we're done, it's always good to test the functions. So I'm going to cover the skin sensor on the seat here and press a rear wash just to make sure that the bidet can run a wash. It's doing that well. I'm going to uncover the seat sensor and the wash stops. So that's good. We should also check the flush on this toilet just to make sure that everything's running well with that. You now have your TOTO Aurora toilet with your Washlet Plus system S7A fully installed, and you're good to go.
ManyBidets.com, where we sell mini bidets, not mini bidets.